Hey everybody, welcome to Friday Night Flicks, the movie vlog series, and this time around we're going to take a look into what I think about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. It is of course the sequel to the first acclaimed hit, Guardians of the Galaxy 1, from a couple of years ago. When I was watching this, I did have some enjoyment out of it, but at the same time I felt like something was off, or something was missing. And to quote another like-minded YouTuber, the Movie Howze, he said in his review that it seems like a lot of the Marvel sequels within the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they have some pretty good first movies, but their sequels don't really add much or don't live up to the higher expectations from the predecessors, apart from the Captain America movies. And in this movie, I can kind of agree with that, because in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, we do get a lot of the same great stuff from the sci-fi, the special effects, to the outer space scenes and whatnot. Great deliverance and comedy, but you can also notice a few small repetitive patterns as well, from Baby Groot dancing, to Rocket Raccoon being a continuous asshole, breaking out of a jail scene, a character at the end of the third act swearing death on Thanos, like another character did before in the previous one. I mean, come on, it's just a little repetitive at this point. I mean, a lot of the characters were a lot better this time around, especially with Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana. They had some pretty good chemistry, but at the same time, it seems like they tried a little too hard with Star-Lord's character to try to put more of the moves on Gamora. Then he's also comparing their relationship to like Sam and Diane of Cheers, which how the hell is a 7-year-old able to watch Cheers back in those days? Right before he got abducted and remember those episodes. But at the same time, there were some other characters that were just a little too off-putting as well. There was the new character Mantis, who seemed like she overacts and hams up all of her scenes the way she expresses and talks. And I don't know if that's part of the character's trait or not, but it just seems really too over the top. And of course there was this dialogue between her and Drax kind of is a lot less literal in this sense than like the previous movie, but a lot more getting the jokes and everything else. But at the same time, they kind of just seem like they put too much emphasis and effort into him disliking Mantis for a few reasons, because he thinks she's ugly. But at the same time, he later revealed, oh, you just remind me of your daughter, which I believe is more of a defense mechanism for him, just so he won't feel attracted to her in some way, because she reminds him of his dead daughter. But as for the other characters, there was some pretty good stuff as well. And then there were some other characters who, they did have some pretty good action scenes for the most part, but it wasn't as epic as it was before. There was a lot of space battles, without a doubt, but it was pretty good to say the least. And Kurt Russell as the Ego, who's Star-Lord's dad, and Ego the planet, well, it was actually a pretty good emphasis, because when I was watching before watching this movie, I heard Kurt Russell was going to be in human form, but also has a planet as well, and I'm like, how does he pull that off as Ego? But as it turns out, that apparently the planet that he is the planet, but he can also cut pieces of himself in human form out there to spread across the world, the galaxy, and to explore and whatnot, and come back to retrieve the info, which I thought that was a pretty clever idea for, to retain that human aspect of him. He was also pretty fantastic as a villain as well. He was a huge step up from Ronan the Accuser, whereas Ronan the Accuser was pretty generic as a villain. This one took it a step above, because his ultimate plan was to explore these planets, breed with certain women just so he can have offspring of himself, so they would have his cosmic power. But also at the same time, the planets that he explored, he plants a seed as well on their planets, where it would encase it in goo, and the planets would travel across the galaxy to mind with his planet as well, if that makes sense. I know he does that sort of thing in the comic books, but it was more of a physical contact. But overall, Kurt Russell as Ego the Planet was a pretty good villain, and he has to be one of the more memorable ones out there when it comes to the Marvel Cinematic villains. It's too bad that they killed him off, but at the same time, it makes sense, but it was great. Another complaint I've had was also at the end of the movie as well, because it seems like director James Gunn had no idea what kind of fucking sequel he's gonna put out for part 3. So he just sliced up not one, not two, but 5 different epilogues at the end credits. Some of them were comical, they were jokey and funny, but at the same time there were also some epilogues that were just like cliffhangers that led up to a possible Guardians of the Galaxy sequel, what's gonna happen. And as well, like, you had Sylvester Stallone reforming the old school Guardians of the Galaxy from the 70s comic book series, which I completely forgot Sylvester Stallone was in this, but it was more or less a small cameo. And at the same time, you had these gold alien people creating Adam Warlock in their regeneration tube and all that stuff, so, you know, there's that as well. And I just thought that was just one too much. But of course, there was also the Stan Lee cameo, which he appeared not once, but twice in this movie with the Watchers. I think that would have to be one of the best Stan Lee cameos to date. But overall, this is like a mixed bag, and it was pretty good for the most part, and also pretty fun. But at the same time, like I said before, there was some repetitive stuff that you just kind of notice, but you can easily overlook it. But it's also a bit of a step down from the previous movie, just by a small percentage. And for that, I would probably have to give Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 a 3.5 out of 5 stars. And it's still fine for the most part. You know, rental material, you can still buy it on DVD, I highly recommend. Alright, so I think this pretty much concludes this movie vlog. I hope you guys enjoy, and of course, if you guys like what you see, follow the playlist right here where all my other movie reviews are. And of course, you can subscribe right here to the BoomTim channel. And if you guys have any requests, feel free to ask me on Patreon for the low price of $2 a month. Alright, so with that said, I'll see you all next time.